The views expressed on the Jerry Cahill's CF podcast are that of Jerry Cahill and guests, and not necessarily those of the Boomer Eisason Foundation. Nothing on the Jerry Cahill's CF podcast should be considered medical advice. Such advice can only be given by a physician who is experienced with cystic fibrosis. The Boomer Eisason Foundation, Jerry Cahill and guests cannot be held responsible for any damage which may result from using the information on this podcast without the permission of your medical doctor. You're listening to the Jerry Cahill's CF podcast presented by the Boomer Eisason Foundation and jerrycahill.com.
Welcome to Jerry Cahill's Living, Breathing, Succeeding podcast series. This show, The Art of Healing, was made possible through an unrestricted educational grant from Gilead to the Boomer Eisason Foundation. Today we sit with Dylan Mortimer, a 38-year-old artist living in New York City. Dylan had a double lung transplant at Barnes-Jewish in St. Louis on January 18, 2017. I sat down with Dylan to talk about being an artist and being a parent while maintaining his health post-transplant.
I played basketball growing up through 8th grade, and then at that time started to transition to doing art more. I started off drawing comic books and cartoon characters and things like that, and just kind of progressed into doing more fine art things in high school, taking actual art classes really for the first time. That became my passion, became the thing I really wanted to do, and so went to art school at the Kansas City Art Institute and kind of went into full-time art, which I didn't even know that was really something a person could do. I feel more alive when I'm creating art than almost anything. I didn't include anything about health for so long, and then my health deteriorated to a point it felt dishonest to not bring it in some way, and I started to bring it in the imagery. And the response I had from people was very positive and very emotional. They're essentially paintings, but done in a collage way. And all of them have glitter on top of glitter on top of glitter on top of glitter. I've used glitter as a medium now for about 7 years, and it's really shiny material. And I feel like my whole life has been trying to sprinkle glitter over a seemingly ugly situation and trying to beautify something that would seem repulsive to some, to go from low to high, which is reflective of the struggle with CF, of like going from seemingly not being able to live very long to living forever, living and breathing way beyond what was expected. To place artwork in hospitals, in pharmaceutical companies, in medical centers, that's been fantastic. The reaction from other patients has been really nothing but incredible. Telling me I walk by that every day, it gave me hope, it gave me, it inspired me to keep fighting. And also giving them permission, other patients, other artists, permission to do similar things. Express yourself and take all this energy, good and bad, that's in you and let it out creatively and express what does it feel, what do you feel like, both the highs and lows of it, and how do you express and share your story with people. I use a lot of symbols from scars. I use a lot of cellular forms as well, thinking about my shiny, healthy new cells, in the new lungs. I use stained glass kind of as a motif and symbol, often referencing faith, prayer, hope, inspiration. The Air Jordans I use a lot as a symbol. I was always fascinated with the fact that there's air in the bottom of the shoes, and we need air in our lungs. It's self-discovery, it's the unfairness of it, and about healing and how to pursue healing, how to ask for healing, how to look for hope in, again, seemingly hopeless circumstances.
Is it still?
My wife, Shannon, we've been married for 13 years. She had the courage to marry me early on in her life, me having CF and us discussing this, raising two incredible boys who are now 7 and 9. We walked through transplant. She was my caretaker, and has helped me battle and inspire me and give me hope in some of the bleakest times through this disease. The second real conversation I had with her, I brought up CF, and her response was nothing but faith and hope, and I want to get to know you more, and I'm not afraid of this. I'd like to battle this with you, which blew me away. And pretty much, from that moment I knew I was marrying this woman. Parenting is hard for anybody, but parenting on 30 and 20% lung function became very difficult. Just normal tasks and taking them upstairs or things like that became really, really stressful. So it was a lot to handle, my health declining, us as new parents, the discussion of lung transplant starting. It's a lot, but there are so many options for help, especially nowadays. I mean, more and more and more grants available for medications, living assistance, all kinds of help out there. So it was difficult for me as a CF patient to have the vulnerability and honesty to ask for help. And I kind of had to get to that point where I just said, like, hey, I need any and every, whoever is willing to, I need your prayers, I need your help, I need support. And once I was able to kind of cross into that, it was a really beautiful thing for me to receive that from people. For 2 months, I had 4 embolizations, and it just, my lungs were kind of at the end. I couldn't stop coughing up blood. I waited 2 months on the list. I had a transplant January 18th, 2017. It's an indescribably incredible gift of life and breath. It took about 3-ish months to get through recovery, and since then, I mean, it's just blown my mind at every step of the way. I mean, the trips we've been able to take, climbing mountains and riding bikes with my boys, wrestling with them, doing things that I never knew I would be able to do. We've been to Australia, New Zealand, London, Paris, all over the US. It's just been, it's been incredible. I've been able to make more art. I'm doing art shows all across the country and the world. It's been amazing. I am feeling better than I ever have, today. I mean, I'm feeling great. I am dealing with rejection, in the new lungs. So, it's another battle, which is hard. And I'm weary and all these things. But again, if I look back at all the things we've fought through in my life and in the lives of so many CF patients, I know I have hope even now. I have to keep remembering all the times I thought it was the end and it wasn't the end. And there was so much more than even I could imagine. I would recommend anyone with CF really think through how to have hope beyond, just the information you hear, even from doctors, even from anything you read online. Our fight together in beating this disease, curing this disease, and overcoming it is having hope and faith past that. So whatever your condition, whatever your diagnosis, don't settle for just that, Keep going. Don't give up. You inspire me. I hope I can inspire you to some degree. There's more life, more breath, and more out there with every day. And so just when you get weary, when you want to give up, get whoever and whatever around you to take the next step, because you have no idea what's on the other side of that mountain. So keep going.